Hey, this is Jess with Jess Reviews, and today I'm doing a little breakdown of things that you can buy with those FSA funds before they expire at the end of the year. If you contribute to a flexible savings account, I'm sure you're aware that that money does not continue into the next year. And if you are a parent like me, there's actually a lot of great things that you can have around the house that you can buy with FSA funds before they are gone. So I'm going to go through kind of three categories of items, things that are large. So if you have several $100s in your account, things that are kind of $100 range, and then things that are a $10 to $50 range or less. So you can kind of piece together what you need. So in my big expenditures category, I would recommend looking at something like a Borax water filter, which I have made a video about. I have one, I really like it. It really makes me feel good to know that my family, at least me and my child, my husband refuses to use the water filter because he doesn't think it's important, but that's another story. It makes me feel better to know we're drinking some filtered water. It has been shown to remove a lot of chemicals, a lot of potentially dangerous things from water, and you can use FSA funds for this. Now, it is a little bit tricky, but they make it as easy as they can. So Borax partners with a company called TrueMed, and TrueMed is basically a way for you to get something called a letter of medical necessity, which means that you actually do need the item, which means you can actually use your FSA funds for it. So all you do is you take a little questionnaire. There's several categories of things that would qualify you to use your FSA funds for something like a Borax water filter. They're really common, things like allergies, digestive troubles, anxiety, depression, basically the kinds of conditions that, all of us have. So if you have any allergies, for instance, you can qualify to get a Borax water filter with your FSA funds, and you can do it all online. You don't even have to visit the doctor. So I did it to get my Borax, and it was easy. It worked perfectly. I have no complaints with it. So if you have several $100s to spend, I would look at something like that, or like a Theragun, which I've also made a video about. And that is also a couple $100s. That's a little bit less than the Borax water filter, which the cheapest one is $350. But it's a great thing to have around. It's really helpful. Like, I've been carrying my baby around like a 15-pound kettlebell at all times. And so I am constantly sore. My shoulders are always killing me. And having that Theragun at the end of the day is really nice to have. So if you're a parent to a leech baby, that would be a really good one to spend your larger amount of FSA funds. So then we kind of come down to the $100 range. And in this range, if you don't already have one, I would really highly recommend getting a touchless thermometer. Now, this one is a Nokia. I will post a link when I post the video. There's more than one type of this kind of thermometer. I don't know that this one is the best one. It has been working for me. These are really nice things to have to take your temperature. You just push this button. There's a little display, and then you run this across your forehead and it shows your temperature, 98 degrees. Fantastic. The other nice thing about this is it connects to your phone via Bluetooth. So this reading gets recorded. So let's say you're taking care of your child is sick, you're trying to keep track of how their fever is developing over the course of a few days. You don't have to write this down. This just gets stored for in your phone. And on top of that, you can access medical advice based on how high that fever is, which is really nice. And if you have a caretaker at home taking care of your sick child and they're taking their temperature with this, you can see the temperature on your phone as well. So you don't even have to be there when this is being used to know what that temperature reading is. I think these kinds of thermometers are a wonderful thing to have in the house, especially with a young child or young children. So this would be my kind of $100 range FSA recommendation for all of you parents of children. Parents of dogs, I don't really make recommendations for, but I do not have one, so I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of my $100 range. Now we're going into the smaller items range. And in the smaller items range, oh my gosh, there's so much available. So one of the ways I like to shop for these items is just to go to Amazon and filter by FSA or HSA eligible. So, for instance, infant Tylenol, eligible. Gas drops, eligible. Diaper cream, eligible. Plenty of different medicines, vitamin D drops, stuff like that. Supplements you might need for your baby. Sunscreen is a great one to have around. I'm going to get some baby sunscreen now, even though it's winter here and it's very dark and my baby is not getting much sunlight. These are things you can stock up for because you will use them in the coming year. And if you just have like $45 hanging out in your FSA that you don't want to lose, get some Tylenol, get some multivitamins for your child. Like that sort of stuff is so good to have around, and there's no point like letting that money to go to waste, you know? So those are my recommendations. I hope that is helpful. And yeah, just a reminder, there are a number of resources online that you can use to figure out what is FSA eligible. There's FSAstore.com. Like I said, Amazon has an FSA HSA filter that I find really helpful. For some of these bigger items like a Theragun or a borax filter, you might have to look at specific sites and see what their ordering process is. Like I said, borax has a special setup with TrueMed, but it's very easy to navigate and it's all totally accessible online. You really don't have to go to the doctor for any of this. So go use those FSA funds before the year ends. If you have any questions about any of the items I mentioned or any recommendations to share with anyone else, leave a comment. And if you like my videos, be sure to subscribe. Happy end of the year, folks.